Good evening all, I'm Aditi Lamba with the Wednesday night edition of South Asian News, Vision of Asia. We are coming to you from our studio in New York City. Welcome to the show. Let's begin the episode taking a look at the coronavirus pandemic and its impact. The world has surpassed 209 million cases of COVID-19 with more than 4 million deaths. Here in the United States, we're at more than 37 million cases of the coronavirus and at least 623,000 deaths. Today, U.S. health officials said that COVID-19 vaccine booster shots will be made widely available to Americans starting September 20th. This comes as data is showing a diminishing protection from the initial vaccinations as infections rise from the Delta variant. The evidence has shown that this protection from COVID-19 vaccines wanes after 6 or more months, particularly with underlying health conditions. Cases and hospitalizations amongst children are also on the rise, with students going back to school and debates over masks and vaccines. Meanwhile, the situation in Afghanistan has intensified with the Taliban taking over the country. The Taliban is setting a new regime, with many concerned over the implications of this takeover, especially for the Afghan women who have reportedly stayed indoors for fear of their safety. With this, let's now take a look at headlines coming in tonight, reflecting much on politics, and an exclusive on Disney's first Indian-American original movie Spin. Here are the headlines. COVID-19 surge creates political battles over masks, veteran journalist Rohit Vyas, New Jersey. Superior Court Judge Bina Desai takes judicial oath of office, New Jersey. Disney presents first Indian-American original movie Spin featuring Avantika. It's time for a short break on Vision of Asia South Asian News segment. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. And welcome back, I'm Aditi Lama and this is Vision of Asia, Wednesday night episode of South Asian News. The spread of the Delta variant of the coronavirus has been disrupting the new school year in some of the hardest hit states. Debates all across the nation have been visible on masks and vaccines, with students and faculty going back to school this month. States such as Texas and Florida are surging with cases in children, with their governors battling with local leaders over their ban on mask mandates in schools. Florida has its highest level of COVID-19 patients in hospitals, but Governor Ron DeSantis, a Republican, has still banned mask mandates even though some superintendents have bucked his order. In Tampa, over 5,000 students and at least 300 employees of a single school district are now in isolation because of COVID-19 cases. In Texas, COVID-19 continues to surge, with many hospitals expected this week to surpass records of number of COVID-19 patients in their care. This is happening while Governor Greg Abbott has tested positive for COVID-19, yet the governor stands firm on his decision to ban masks. So what is going to happen with these hardest hit states making vaccines and mask political issues? We spoke with ITV Gold's senior political commentator, Mr. Rohit Vyas. Here is what he had to say. That's impacting our country and also impacting the world again, the rise in COVID-19 cases and how that has become a political issue, political battles on mask mandates. Let's talk about the state of Florida. We're hearing news that schools are getting shut after just being open for a week due to hundreds of cases of COVID-19. Yet the governor refuses to have a mask mandate. The same thing we're seeing in Texas and other parts of the country as well. How are you looking at this? And, you know, this is becoming a political chaos. How dangerous could this get?
As dangerous as a doctor who today has been quoted, I forget which state it's in. It's either Texas or Florida, one of those states which is facing this. And he says that, I'm working in the emergency room. I can no longer I'm no longer trying to feel empathy because I can't anymore. Now I feel, look, you unvaccinated people, just go out there and get the vaccination. You're putting everybody through stress. You're putting your fellow citizens through stress. You're putting us, the first responders, through stress. So I don't have sympathy for you anymore. Go ahead and get vaccinated. We have it. We have a way out of this pandemic, and do so. This is totally unnecessary. Now, these are the words of a doctor, an emergency room physician, who today said he has no sympathy anymore for patients who come in who are sick from COVID, from the new Delta variant, because they were unvaccinated. He said, I no longer have sympathy for them. I can't help myself. That's how fed up he was. That sums it up pretty much. The politics is ridiculous. I think and whoever indulges in it needs to be educated about pandemics and the rest of it. Go over the whole process again and teach them what this is. It is sheer stupidity. Strong word to use, but I can only think of that word. It is sheer stupidity not to get vaccinated at this stage and to let this happen. The politics is absolutely unnecessary, and therefore it's a good thing in Florida. It's a good thing in Texas and other states. The local governments, school boards are rising up on their own and taking action to shut down schools, etc. Whatever they have to do, they're doing because leadership has failed them. And I think that's a good thing that they have taken local leadership and local decisions in a leadership manner to implement action.
Right. But do you think the federal government needs to interfere at this point? I mean, we're looking at cases surging way more than we've seen the last couple of months. We're seeing death rates go up as well with COVID-19 cases and deaths here.
Too late. Yeah, I know your question. I'm going to preempt you only because I know it's too late now for the federal government to have to jump in, and I don't think people will appreciate the federal government jumping in. In the United States, each government of each state has a lot of the authority and power to do what they have to do, and all the government now can do, the federal government, is emphasize over and over again, look, this is what we say. These are the CDC guidelines. You're going to have to follow them, or you're going to face the consequences, and that's it. I guess one of the other things the federal government can do is to, enforce some kind of sanction against each state, which would mean financial sanctions. But then that's going to hurt the people of the states. Right. So truly and honestly, I have no idea what the federal government can do other than to warn the public that if you do not get vaccinated, you're facing dire consequences, which they are already, and they can see it. Now, if you can see it and you do nothing about it, I don't see what else the federal government can do. Then those states which choose to go this route, those people who choose to follow that leadership and go that route, the only thing you can do is let them fend for themselves. If they end up in hospital and they die, what can you do? I mean, everybody's showing sympathy. Everybody's trying to help people stay healthy. And this is a serious matter. I mean, this emergency room physician is only one. I'm sure they're all feeling the same way. I talk to doctors all the time, and they say, if you want to be ridiculous, what do you do? How do you tell when you tell a patient, this is what we need you to do, and if they're going to refuse to do it, well then, what do you do? If they choose to basically commit suicide, this variant is deadly, and if you choose to not take the vaccine, if you choose not to be protected, you're playing Russian roulette.
The New Jersey Supreme Court is the highest appellate court in New Jersey and reviews cases from the lower courts. In deciding the cases that comes before it, the court interprets the New Jersey and the United States Constitution, New Jersey statutes, administrative regulations of the state's governmental agencies, as well as the body of common law. The Supreme Court consists of Superior Court judges who have been nominated by Governor Phil Murphy. One of the nominations for the Superior Court, who has now been approved by the New Jersey Senate, is South Asian American, a proud Gujarati, Bina Desai from East Brunswick. Bina Desai recently took her oath of office and is now a Superior Court judge in Civil Division of the Middlesex County. A huge moment of representation for the South Asian American community here. Here are some highlights from the oath ceremony of Judge Bina Desai.
She is eminently qualified. She possesses a strong work ethic, well respected by members of the bar and the judges that she's appeared before. She has the skills and judgment to be a successful Superior Court judge. Following her graduation from Seton Hall, she attended Villanova Law School where she obtained a law degree and a master's in business administration. After law school, she served as a law clerk to the Honorable Barbara Stolte. She has lectured at numerous legal education seminars, served on the Criminal Practice Committee, the New Jersey State Bar Criminal Law Section, and served on the Pandemic Task Force for the resumption of jury trials. Raise your right hand. I,
Bina, Desai,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people,
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people,
and that I will perform the duties of Judge of the Superior Court
and that I will perform the duties of Judge of the Superior Court
faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Growing up as a first-generation American in Old Bridge, New Jersey, I would never have thought that my dream of becoming a judge would one day come true. And yet, here I am. I'm truly honored and humbled to have been given this opportunity to serve the community and the people of Middlesex County, the county that I've called home for my entire life, and to do so alongside an incredibly talented, compassionate, and hardworking group of judges who I am now proud to call my colleagues. I would not be able to be here today, though, if I had not been encouraged to pursue that dream by my parents, Kieran and Barthy, my Masi Bina, and my Masa, Rabi, who's surely smiling down on me today. The four of them have always let me walk my own path, even when perhaps it was not what was conventional for an Indian woman, and even when it meant taking the path that paid less and meant longer hours just because it made me happy. Many times along the way, my parents asked me to consider other options, but in the end, they always backed my decision because they knew that I had set goals for myself and they were determined to help me achieve them no matter what.
I'm honored today. I got sworn in as a judge of the Superior Court in Middlesex County, and I am so proud to be representing my Gujarati and Indian community, which I will do in that role. Thank you, everybody.
Today, my daughter Bina, the first generation Gujarati, was appointed and sworn in as a Superior Court judge in Middlesex County. It's a proud moment for myself, my family, and also entire Gujarati and Indian community in state of New Jersey. That our first generation is excelling in various fields. This field was uncharted because most of our people goes in technical field like engineering, software engineering, or medicine. So very few people goes in legal profession, and Bina was one of them. And after working 15 years and trying the cases in the prosecutor's office, now she will be a judge in Superior Court of State of New Jersey in Middlesex County.
She will be the first Indian Superior Court judge we have here in New Jersey. You look at our record, and I'll tell you, we could not have found a finer candidate, no matter how far and wide we searched.
Some of you know that I've known her and her brother and her mother and father for many years. She was a little girl. I don't even remember how many years ago. I won't even admit to it, actually. But always, I knew how intelligent, how hardworking she was. I was a little surprised when she decided to go work for the prosecutor, and some of you are going to get mad at me for saying, because she's so nice, you know. I couldn't envision her as the prosecutor. And when I hear and I said, how many years has she been the first assistant? He said 15 years. I said, oh my God, I can't believe it's 15 years. But I do think that having been the first assistant prosecutor for so many years is a tremendous credential, if you will, for being a Superior Court judge, whether you work on the criminal side or the civil side. You're assigned to the civil side, right? Yep. But then that changes, right? They go back and forth.
Maybe someday.
It depends. It depends. But really, we couldn't have a more qualified person who really, I think, understands what it is to be a judge.
Well, it's now time for another short break on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back. I'm Diti Lama and this is Vision of Asia South Asian News segment. We have now more on Disney's first Indian American original movie, Spin. Directed by Manjari Makijani, Spin mixes music and South Asian culture in the Disney world, focused on empowering and normalizing the Indian community. Spin follows an Indian American teenager named Ria who explores her horizons to find new inspirations and a place for herself. The movie presents her learning the art of DJing, her new passion, while handling her Indian American family and her responsibilities. Through her passion for music, Ria then combines elements of Indian music with the world around her on a theme that one can find music in everything. With that, Spin celebrates Indian culture, arts, and festivals while making a great space for South Asians in American movies. Playing Ria in Spin is actress Avantika. We spoke to Avantika on the impact of Disney's Spin in bringing South Asians front and center. Here is Avantika.
Welcome to Battle of the Beatmasters!
Show everybody who you really are.
I'm ready.
You were born ready.
It's all music. I have to say congratulations on Spin. It is on Disney now. It's playing there and it's gotten so much love. So I have to ask you, how are you feeling? The film has been released. Everybody's watching it. Everyone's raving about it. How are you feeling?
I'm so happy, and I'm really glad it's getting the traction that it is. I think, growing up, I didn't really have this to look up to on screen. So to finally potentially be able to be that person for other young South Asian kids growing up is just amazing to me. And, we want to get as many eyes on this as possible. And hopefully this movie will pave the way for more South Asian characters on Disney in the future.
Right. You do play the character of Ria in the movie. It's the main character. It's an Indian American character. The movie is about Ria exploring, music around her, really finding herself through music. But it's happening while she's living an Indian American life. So, I have to ask you, how was the narration of the movie given to you? And what did you think about it when you first heard about an Indian American centric movie on Disney, an original Disney movie?
So when I read the script, I was just so excited. I was so excited to see a movie like this. And immediately I was like, oh my God, we are finally getting South Asian representation on Disney. And then there was just a little bit of apprehension because I hoped that this movie did not feed into stereotypes. And it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. So once I read the script, any doubts I had completely vanished because this movie breaks so many stereotypes. And it shows, Indian families experiencing things that we deserve to be humanized and we deserve to be shown in a way that's real and positive and true. And Ria is pursuing a career that isn't STEM, and she has supportive parents and she has a really cool nanny. And so I think it's just a really great modern way to portray modern Indo-American families in a way that's true to our community.
Yeah, wouldn't
Pizza drone!
Family, they're called TikTokos. Chill.
Night, Baba.
Repeat. Friends.
Check it.
Family.
This is why you're my favorite daughter.
Your only daughter. Chill. Repeat. That's perfect. Friends, family, chill. Friends, family, chill. Friend, family, chill. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Wait, hold up.
Yeah, wouldn't you say that they're trying to basically normalize? When I was interviewing Manjari before you, I actually said that Ria could have been anybody. She didn't have to be necessarily Indian American. That's how normal, the storyline was. What do you have to say about that?
Absolutely. Ria doesn't have to be Indian. And I think the high level storyline is very universal. And I wouldn't say it's generic because I think it's also very specific to, her experiences, which are coding and waitressing and DJing. But the themes are very universal and they're relatable to many audiences, which I think is the great thing about this story. It remains relatable to so many people, but also maintains its individuality with the culture and the specificity with the things that she chooses to pursue.
Who is that?
I've never seen you smile like that before. That's Max. He's a DJ. He's probably way too cool for me. Teach me how to spin.
You want to be a DJ?
So it's a date.
Ready, set, go. We don't stop until we're done. Take your places on the floor. Start in 3, 2, 1.
It's really amazing how you're picking all this up. You could be great.
So you're a musician?
You know, there are a lot of things that I liked about Ria's character, so let's dig a little bit more into it. Let's explore a little bit more about it. I loved the fact that she was such a perfect waitress in the restaurant, I have seen that happen when you go into an Indian restaurant. Usually they are owned by a family where members of the family are working together, to serve the public that's there. Talk to me about that experience. What took, what brought you into this whole experience itself? What did you have to learn? And how was that whole experience for you?
So I had to learn how to wait tables and how to carry plates and serve people with efficiency and with politeness and just all these things that waitresses are so used to and so skilled at doing. So I had to learn that, and I think that was such a really great experience for me. I grew up with a lot of movement. I played sports and I am a dancer, but it was interesting to equip those movement techniques and my training in movement in such a cool way. And Ria deftly weaves between tables, and that's kind of her character, and I think it's just so great that I got to be able to learn that. And a lot of our choreographers and our dancers on set used to wait tables and had experience with this kind of job, so all of them were there to give me the very specific instructions of, for example, the tray was super, super heavy. So in the beginning, when I was carrying it like this, I was also using this hand to support it. And they were like, no, usually this hand is behind, it's behind their back. So, my biceps were really great, but it was just so amazing to learn a new skill.
No, it's just a hobby.
Not DJ contest.
We entered for you. I loved making that song with Max, but what if there's no more music in me?
Your mother always said
It's all music.
she didn't run out of music, and neither will you. Go find it, let it out.
Yeah, of course. And another skill you had to learn in the movie was DJing, which is so interesting. It's so unconventional. And the fact that I see a South Asian woman do it, it's just on a different level. So, talk us through that process. What was that like? And how long did it take you to, learn how to do a real spin?
So I began learning how to DJ 1.5 months prior to filming, and I had really amazing people to guide me along the process. One of whom was Marius, who was our music composer, and Vijay, our on-set DJ coach. So both of them were kind of the people guiding me through the process, and it was so much fun. I can't even explain to you how. It's just such a weird, interesting feeling to DJ, and I'm really glad I got to do that. I think DJing is such an underestimated skill, and so to finally be able to learn the intricacies of it and learn how the board works and kind of get a sneak peek into a DJ's mind was just so cool to me.
Welcome to Battle of the Beat Master.
Show everybody who you really are.
I'm ready.
You were born ready.
It's all music.
Well, with this, we wrap up our show for the night. Please send us your suggestions and get your voices and organizations on our show. Email us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on our Facebook handle @itvgold. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for free access to many of our popular shows. Thank you for joining us tonight from Queens, New York. This is Vision of Asia, and I am Diti Lamba. Take care and be well.